I wanted to film this video about why I had to DNF Leaving Atlanta by Tayari Jones. You know, I bet y'all like, what? You had to DNF that book too, child? But yes, I did, okay? Leaving Atlanta is by an author named Tayari Jones, a black author named Tayari Jones. And what she does in this book is she takes us back to a real life crisis event that took place within the black communities of Atlanta during the late 70s and early 80s. There were a slew of murders that took over that community during that time. For some reason, the number is evading me at this moment. I want to say it was between 40 and 45 murders, including 3 adults. So I do apologize if I get it wrong. But the point is that, you know, this was a devastating event that rocked the black community in Atlanta during this period. The majority of the victims were all children. You know, no one could be trusted outside of, you know, each of their individual homes. You know, they couldn't trust, hell, a teacher, the man just walking down the street, the milkman, the cashier. You know, they just couldn't trust anyone because someone was literally, you know, running rapid in their communities, killing their children off. That's where Tayari Jones takes us in Leaving Atlanta. The thing about it is that what she does structurally is that she separates the book into 3 different parts, which gives us the piercing, bird's eye, scoping, whichever word you want to use, view of 3 Atlanta children, 5th graders, who are, you know, living within this time period, living within this crisis, and basically trying to survive. But the reason I DNF'd the book, just keeping in thought of the subject matter and the topic that Tayari Jones is going into, is that I really, and this is going to sum it up, and you know, I don't feel like trying to get my words right or try to be correct and all that stuff. I don't feel like doing that stuff. I just don't feel like it, girl. I'm just going to tell you how it is with me, okay? The reason I DNF'd the book is because I feel like the context of the book, the writing, her style of writing didn't match the context, and that's just the God's honest truth with me, you know. At the end of the day, you know, girl, I don't know, like a bridge over troubled waters. Girl, it's like a murky ass waters here. It just didn't sell. And to be completely honest and real about this, I actually felt the same way about the writing style of Victoria Christopher Murray in her book Stand Your Ground, which is equally the same, that I feel like the writing didn't exactly match up to the context. I say that because, like, when you're tackling like a subject matter like the Atlanta child murders, you know, and you want to lead your readers into the perspective of the 5th graders who were sort of living this sort of cautionary life during that particular period, like, it's very difficult to get into anything if the tone and the voice of your characters and your, you know, your narrative is just not really leading. And that's where I had the problem with it. It was very difficult for me to get into the book because at the end of the day, I just felt like Tayari Jones's writing style and her narrative and her voice and tone was very monotone. So I have my receipts here. I got it paged off, but I'm going to read a little bit about what I mean by I feel like the writing was just so dry and monotone that it made the book very difficult to pick up and, you know, read, basically. So, Monica made a sound like the first noise of laughter breaking free from her glued together lips. Is there a problem? Mama asked Monica. No, ma'am, Monica said. Mama said again, is this your friend? Kind of, Tasha mumbled. Okay, so Octavia hung the pink coat on the back of a chair. I got to give the hall pass back, she said. Get well soon, Tasha, Monica sang. Mama took the coat off the chair and helped Tasha into it. Good gracious, she said. What happened to this coat? I failed, Tasha said. This isn't going to come out, Mama said, as if she were talking to herself. I told him not to spend all that money. She hit at the stain with her palm. It's ruined? Tasha asked. Mama changed her tone. Maybe not ruined. We might be able to get it where we can still wear it, but I doubt that we can get all that clay out. She zipped Tasha into the coat and they stepped out into autumn. Boring and monotone. Girl, I'm just saying, like, given the subject matter, given the context of the book and where you plan on taking your readers with these individual stories of these 3 different 5th graders who are living within this crisis, you have got to take me there, and you cannot take me there if I'm walking through the bush or the desert. The desert chic. But that's basically what really made it difficult for me to keep picking up this book, was that I just felt like the writing was just so dry and monotone. Now, from what I'm understanding is that, like I said, she goes into different different narratives, like through three different parts. And I did try to skip ahead a little bit past where, you know, I was feeling the driest of the dry to see if there was something lively within her narrative. And, you know, really, I just felt like I was skipping so much of a chunk of the book that it was discouraging altogether. And I was just like, you know what, forget it. If I can't read the book the way it's written, then it's not gonna be, you know, I just like, why skip ahead? Just let it go. But on the flip side, I did think that the book had some very good points of conversation that was generated by some of the characters. One of the main characters' father, who at this point in the book, he left the home, you know, separation from his wife, and then after the murders started taking momentum within the news, he moved back into the house. But really, the conversation that I just want to point out is that, which I think these conversations are riddled within the book. If I got further, I could get more into them. But, you know, there was things like, you know, the black community asking themselves, you know, why would it be a black man who was out here killing other black children? You know, they immediately was pointing the fingers to, like, it has to be a white man, it has to be a white serial killer. You know, what reason would a black man have to do all this? You know, with those little nuggets of conversation that the book had, you know, I think that would have been a great selling point, you know, something to keep me reading, you know, as the characters discussed it with one another, and, you know, kept my mind kind of churning with all this information and, you know, these ideas that the characters were having within the community as they was contemplating, you know, what in the hell was going on. But at the end of the day, that was the good part. But that writing just would not let me soak in the fun. I just could not get into that dry, monotone writing. It was just so dry. And I gave you guys an example of that. And that was where my problem was. You know, given my, you know, love of crime fiction and that sort of thing, no, I did not go into reading Leaving Atlanta sort of, you know, with the mindset that I was reading a crime fiction novel or a crime thriller. You know, I wasn't going into it thinking, you know, I'm going to soak in, you know, the calculating ways of the criminal of this particular time period in this crisis. I wasn't going into it thinking that I was going to get into the macabreness of the whole Atlanta child murders. I didn't go into it thinking that I was going to get a grasp of the diabolicalness of the actual murder of the serial killer. I just knew that it was a story of three different fifth graders within this period, within this community, contemplating and trying to, you know, what's going on within their communities, why are their friends disappearing, as well as how they're living their daily lives, you know. And, you know, it just did not sell. And I just do not like acting like I like something that I know, you know, that people think you're supposed to like. And I just hate acting like I need to like something that people think you're supposed to like. It's like, no, girl, you got to get your tone together, you know, like, you got to pull me in. You can't pull me in, child. And I don't know, like, girl, I'm just like, shoot, we might as well go down to the pool or something and catch a swim or something, and some lifeguards. But anyway, guys, that is it. If you have any questions, please leave them below. If you have read this book and you love this book, then please let me know where I'm flawed at.
Yo, Lauren, line up, please.